Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wondered why it is so hard to get up and move around when you are a university student, and why so much of your day is spent sitting down? Well, this new study dives deep into that exact question, looking at how the whole university system affects student movement and sitting time. It's no secret that students often spend a lot of time sitting down, but understanding why and how that happens within the university system is super important. If we want to help them move more, the study used a cool method called behavioral systems mapping to explore this. Basically, they talked to a lot of students and university staff about what behaviors are happening, what people are involved, and what influences these behaviors. The most, they interviewed 20 students and 38 staff members from different roles across many UK universities. Think of it like creating a big visual map with all the pieces of the puzzle that influence student movement. They looked at things students do during classes, students do during private study time, and even wider university influences like policies and campus design. They identified over 30 different behaviors happening, and when they mapped everything out, the result was a really complex picture with over 100 elements and connections. One of the biggest takeaways was how important policymakers are. This was identified as a really influential behavior in the system. It means that if the people in charge of university policies actually made student movement a priority, it could have a big ripple effect on everything else. Participants felt that if student movement was a priority at the policy level, it would lead to changes in how teaching is developed to include more physical activity. However, they also found that big influences like financial pressure at the university level and the sheer number of students needing space were seen as barriers to prioritizing movement. This suggests that while policy changes are needed to support movement, there are also practical challenges like limited resources and space that need addressing. Another interesting find was the role of beliefs and motivations. The belief that physical activity has benefits for mental health, well-being, and even learning was also seen as a really influential factor. This points to the importance of convincing both students and staff about the value of moving more. The study also highlighted the social aspect of movement. Social norms and what is considered normal behavior in university settings play a big role. If sitting is the norm, it is harder for people to choose to move. But it also showed that seeing friends or peers moving can encourage others to do the same, something called descriptive norms. They found that if more students were seen moving in classes, it could push back against the norm of just sitting there. The researchers clustered the findings into three main areas. First, student movement in classes, or during teaching time. This area seemed to have the most factors influencing it, making it potentially the hardest to change. This suggests that while getting teachers to embed movement breaks is a good idea, it is very challenging due to time constraints and also the physical setup of classrooms. Second, student movement. During private study time, this area seemed to have fewer actors involved and fewer influences, suggesting it might be a more promising starting point for intervention. Here, the barriers often related to students forgetting to move when they're focused or believing that physical activity needs to be intense to be worthwhile. The third area was wider system influences and behaviors like how campuses are designed or how timetables are set. The study suggests that changing the physical environment and social expectations could be key to embedding physical activity. When the researchers looked at which elements had the most connections to others, suggesting they could influence many parts of the system, they found policymakers prioritizing student movement, financial pressures at universities, the belief in the benefits of physical activity, and the need for efficient use of space and time were some of the top contenders. This research is a great first step, but it is important to remember it is an exploratory study. The map is based on what the participants said and felt. It doesn't necessarily reflect the absolute truth of the university system, but it gives us a really good picture of their perceptions. Also, the analysis was done by one researcher, so there is always a bit of subjectivity in how things are interpreted. However, this study offers valuable insights for developing interventions. It points to the need for policy level changes to truly embed physical activity into the university culture, but it also suggests that focusing on students' private study time might be a more immediate and achievable goal since fewer barriers were identified there. This could involve helping students find small opportunities to move during their study sessions, or even using technology to prompt them at the right moments. So what does this all mean for us? It means that tackling student sedentary behavior requires a big picture approach. We need to think about university policies, campus design, and the beliefs we hold about physical activity. But it also suggests that empowering students to Make small changes during their study time could be a powerful starting point. This research is really exciting because it moves beyond just telling students to exercise more, and instead looks at the whole system that shapes their daily behaviors. It opens up new avenues for interventions that are more tailored and likely to be more effective in the long run. What is next? Well, this map is a starting point. Future research could involve getting input from more stakeholders like actual policy makers are looking at specific universities to create even more detailed maps. Ultimately, the goal is to create university environments where moving more is the easier and more natural choice for students. What do you think about these findings? Do you see these influences in your own university experience? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to RUBIN'S Mind Lab. For more science explained, simply thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.